Welcome to Lost Culture, your one-stop destination for everything pop culture. My name's Aston. Today we're going to do a review and a quick recap for the new TV show, Atlanta. It comes on FX. So you know what this show is. It's basically a brand new show. It's on FX, like I just said. It just started on September 6th. It comes on at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. So this is like 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So this show, it's like a comedy, takes place in Atlanta, of course. It comes from the mind of Donald Glover. You know who Donald Glover is, Childish Gambino, he's a rapper. Also been on other kind of shows. He's been on Community. What else did he play in? He played in like Magic Mike, The Martian. So he played in a bunch of different stuff that you don't know who he is. He's a really silly dude. Like I think you should try him out if you don't know who he is. Pretty good rapper. So this show is actually really funny. It's about a group of friends. It's three dudes mainly. It's Childish Gambino, of course, Donald Glover. He plays like the main protagonist named Ernest. I think he's the main protagonist. It's either him or his cousin. Cause like the first episode we did focus on Ernest a lot. The second episode we follow Paperboy. I forgot his real name, but his rap name was Paperboy. And then Paperboy got a best friend named Darius that he's always kind of with. And this show was like super funny to me because it honestly reminded me of my friends. I had a lot of friends. Well, I have a lot of friends from Atlanta, Georgia, like the whole Georgia area, Savannah, Augusta, Columbus. So I have a lot of friends out that area. It actually reminds me of a lot of people on the show. So it for me, it reminded me of times just hanging out with my friends. This is like a really funny ass show. So when we start off, we see Ernest is in a bed with his baby moms. His baby moms, they seem like a happy couple. They just joking. She's trying to figure out why he's up. It was kind of weird that he was in the bed listening to headphones. I know when my girl's over, what I like to do is if I get up super early, I just go out to the living room and watch TV and do whatever. I don't know how their environment is set up, but that's what I do. I like to go in the living room so I don't wake her up. But we see he's sitting right next to her in the bed, bumping, I don't know what song he's actually playing, but we see he just got his headphones on, just playing music super loud. One thing I do like about this show, though, I must say before it starts off, for the intros for what we've seen so far, it featured different Atlanta artists for the intro song. So I don't know if they're going to do that every week or they just did it for these first 2 episodes, but I really like that about this show. I like how they're trying to stick to the Atlanta culture. And it's so crazy to me because this show, like I said, I'm not from Atlanta at all, but I have a lot of friends from Atlanta that kind of remind me of them. But besides that, it reminds me just me being me hanging out with my friends around the world. Just hanging out with my friends, different experiences we go through, the stupid shit that we do together. Because it's it's honestly a bunch of random stuff like how we would do. None of us are blowing up. None of us are any famous rappers or anything, but we when we hang out, we all have stupid jokes. Or we had the one moment where it's too much information, somebody do something awkward. But yeah, so getting back to it, we see Ernest is at home with his baby moms. They're laughing and joking. They seem extremely happy. She wakes up, asks him why he's up kind of early. He tells her this weird dream he has where he's in the ocean, he's swimming through hands. And he tells her about a fat girl, I think he said it was. And her first thing was, oh, did you make out with her or whatever? And she knows him well, because he did make out with her in his dream. And they're just joking, he rode up trying to kiss her, she's trying to push him out morning breath. And he makes a little stupid joke. That's something I do too all the time, so I actually relate with this show really, but if it wasn't a TV show, I would just think one of me and my friends hanging out. You can literally just follow me and my friends hanging out, and most of this stuff would have happened. So it's crazy. I can't believe I relate to this show so much. So I'm definitely going to follow this show, do more of this show. And I'm pointing this way because there's a TV right there that I just watched it on, so that's why you might see me pointing to the right a lot. But besides that, we see after that he goes to his job. He does a little not door to door, but it's kind of those little things when you walk through the mall or you walking through you go to a basketball game or something, we see a little kiosk, they're trying to get you to sign up for like a trip and things of that nature. That's what he's working for. He said he made like $5.15, that's minimum wage. Well, that's more than minimum. He makes $5.15 an hour plus his, forgot what he did, commission. So we see he's like real upset. Him and his friend just joking because you see the old lady over there. She like making mad sales. She's doing like a little humping behind the dude she just made a sale to, like she's fucking him. And like the other friend, like basically said he's turned on. Like, is it weird that I watch? And they're just and they're doing things like that. And we see the other friend brings up a little video. He's showing them, and it's like, oh, Ernest actually knows him. It's his best friend, not his best friend, but his cousin. And they had like a little relationship. Obviously, they're pretty close because we see Paperboy stops by his family. We see when Ernest leaves work, he goes to his parents' house to actually figure out if like where Paperboy is at. One thing I didn't mention about Ernest, like I said, him and his girlfriend seem like they're real happy when the show comes on, but then it turns out they're not together. His girlfriend's a teacher. He's, I don't know what he is. He's a college student that, not really a college student anymore. He's out. He basically got to pay back his student loans and everything. Something happened at school. We haven't got into it. It's been basically the question, the whole thing. And he finds out that his girl, well, babe mom's actually going on a date with somebody else. She's leaving him with the kid, and he's going to have to like step up. So I guess it seems like it's his first time actually hanging out with her. But it's pretty funny. They're just talking about stuff you really shouldn't discuss in front of like your kid or whatever. That's why he's like, oh, it's a great environment for you to be in. So it's a really great show. Like I like the dynamic between him and his girl. Obviously they're pretty close besides not being together. But hey, moving on to Paperboy, we see Paperboy's blowing up. When Ernest goes to see him, this apartment reminds me of my boy TJ's apartment. It was just like all my boy did was play video games, have everybody over. That's where the spot was. We all just go over there, kick it. But it was the nastiest apartment I ever seen. So that what Paperboy's apartment remind me of. You gotta check that joint out. Like it is. I know, like, so we see he's in there playing video games. Darius in the back making cookies. Why the hell is Darius randomly making cookies? I don't know. We see when Ernest comes in, Darius is in the cut. He got the bandana over his face and a knife in one hand and a batch of cookies in the other hand. This, bruh, he probably fit in with Ray J's Booty Goons. This dude Darius is super silly though. So Darius is basically like the pie. We're all potheads, but Darius takes it to a whole nother level. I don't know if he only smokes weed, but he's a little bit more trippy. So we see he's just doing like stupid stuff. Like we're basically when they're talking business, he's like, you're talking business. He's basically just butting in and everything, talking about blah, blah, blah. And we see Ernest actually has a little bit of information, not information, but a little bit of knowledge as far as how like mixtapes or albums should be marketed in like his fan base, or Paperboy's fan base. So when he's talking to him like, look, you're a little bit older, so you don't have that many, your fans aren't going to be that young. You don't sell sex, so that's going to cut your fan base a little bit older, a little bit more too. So we see he knows a little bit of knowledge. He's talking about the skits and everything. This reminds me of like a similar album. I didn't buy Apple Music. I just downloaded that Tory Lanez album. My download, I was like, dang, they got mad cuts on the Tory Lanez really trying to go for Drake's position. But then I look at it, it's all skits. I was like, come on, Tory. But that's a whole other thing. So he knew what he was talking about because when I had an album, when I seen that album, when I seen all the listings, and then I seen it was mad skits, it kind of made me upset, kind of turned me off. I really didn't even listen to the whole thing. I think I listened to like one or two cuts off of it, and haven't really gave it any more attention since. So he knew what he was talking about when he was talking about Paperboy having too many skits on his album and things. And he might have been talking about himself too. I know you ever had think that because the internet made me, he had a couple skits on there, a little bit too many. So he might have been talking about himself. There's actually kind of a lot of Easter eggs towards himself in here. If you actually know anything about Donald Glover, you'll catch a little glimpses here and there what he's talking about. But going through here, we see they're basically, he asking to be his manager. His cousin really doesn't want to do it, doesn't really trust him, he thinks he's up to something. He knows he's probably in a tight position and he needs him to, he knows Ernest is approaching him like he's helping him out, but in all actuality, he's helping out Ernest. And that's like the main thing that turns him off about Ernest. So he initially tells Ernest no, but as we see, Ernest still go out on his own. He's trying to figure things out. We see he meets one of his old, I guess it was a college friend. He doesn't really say, but we see they're just talking. We see Ernest is used to be a DJ or might still be a DJ. Don't really know. They're talking. He tells him a crazy story. It's really crazy because we see there's like an awkward situation where his friends tell him a story where he called a DJ like, come on, nigga. Or really, nigga, he said something like that of that context. And then in the conversation again, he said nigga again, which we see he's kind of throwing off Ernest. So when Ernest is asking for that favor so he can get Paperboy's song played, he basically just tells him he's another random dude off the street and he can't really help him unless he got $500. And Ernest is really not trying to pay that $500. So he's talking to, once he goes in, he talks to like the janitor named Prince. Pretty good. I don't want to say like a typical black dude name, but I know a couple Princes too. He basically helps him out. He asks him what time he's there, basically trying to link up with him. And as we see that pays off later on in the episode, we see Prince actually gets Ernest into the radio station. Ernest ends up paying that $500 so that they can play Paperboy's song. And from there, that's it, like, basically. We link back up with Paperboy. We see Paperboy actually goes to Ernest's parents' house and just talk to him like, hey, Ernest stopped by, he's actually be my manager. I don't really trust him, but how do you feel about this? They tell him like, when Ernest really puts his mind to something, he's going to do it, but he's going to do it like his own way. So even though Paperboy told him no, we see Ernest still goes to the radio station, he still gets the song played for Paperboy. That right there get Paperboy happy earlier on in the afternoon, and we see Ernest, Paperboy, and everybody links up. So while they're there, we see like a little, I don't know if she's a prostitute or not, but we see her walking down the street, and when she's walking down the street, she basically like blah blah blah. Her and Paperboy gets into it, and I guess her pimp comes back and break off his mirror. So when that happened, it actually links to the actual intro of this week's episode. So this episode, when it came on, we see Darius, Paperboy, and Ernest all talking to a girl and a dude about the mirror being broke off. Paperboy wants some money for it. Paperboy pulls out a gun. The dude who broke the mirror pulls out a gun. And Ernest pulls out a gun. Darius is on like this little trippy mode, like, dang. Where's the dog with the Texas tags or whatever? So we see Darius is tripping out. And we don't know who did it, but we know the gun goes off. Somebody's gun go off. And that's how this episode ends. Now, on episode 2, we see Ernest in jail. We see Paperboy's in jail. Darius is not there with them. They don't really say why. Obviously, Darius got away from the incident. He must have got away with the guns so that these two would be straight. Once that happens, we see it basically all over the internet, all over the blogs. Paperboy gets out first. He bails out. He's trying to get he's trying to get Ernest out. But Ernest isn't in the system. He's getting pissed off. All this is happening. They're joking around, messing around, talking about everything. Then they bring up the incident for school again. So I don't know if that's going to be a season lingering thing, but we know that's an issue for Ernest. I don't know how it's going to come up, but hopefully it comes up. We find out what really happened in school. Did he flunk out or what? So that happens. We see when they're in jail, Ernest basically left there himself. Ernest is there all day. He calls Vanessa, that's his baby mom's. She's listed as like a main character, but we really didn't see her these 2 episodes. We see her for the intro of the first episode, but we don't really see her at all after that. It's really just Paperboy. This whole episode basically just Paperboy and Ernest. So once Paperboy gets out, we see he goes to the wing spot, and one thing he orders those lemon peppers, but he ordered them to go because he don't really being in a restaurant eating because he feel like a little zoo animal. But at the same time, he gets that hookup with those lemon pepper wings and the sauce. I don't really know too much about. I know about the lemon pepper wings, but I don't know about the sauce. And they give him extra blue cheese on the side, so he living it up right now. Basically, Paperboy is blowing up right now in Atlanta. We know you can pop off in Atlanta without really being famous all over the world. And most Atlanta artists pop off in Atlanta first and then starts to branch out. But we see he's popping up. Even when he gets out of jail, we see the cop. He heard he was there, so he want to take pictures with him. He give him just that blank face, like, "Are you serious right now? I'm trying to get out of here, and you want to take pictures?" And we had that same cop bragging about, like, "Oh, you like Gucci Man?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, "Oh, I arrested him." So we see like a running joke. Darius is just laughing, like, "I can't believe this dude's trying to take these pictures." And Paperboy really not really feeling it. But besides that, he actually did plan on getting Ernest out, but Ernest was in the system, so that's kind of like screwed him over. But later on in the episode, you go back to Ernest in jail, we see all the stupid stuff happen. We kind of see how messed up the actual jail culture is. They talk about the one schizophrenic dude who comes in almost every day or every week or something like that, and there's obviously something wrong with him. We see he's in the little hospital gown. He's walking around with a paper cup. He's filling up with the toilet water. He's drinking it. He's mumbling. And that's basically just showing instead of getting these people help, they'd rather arrest them and just throw them back on the streets, even though they're going to be right back a couple of days. So kind of highlighted that. And we see when he spit the water on them, they beat his ass. Even though they know he's mentally out of it. It was pretty messed up. But yeah. And then we see he leaves a little love message for Vanessa, telling her he loves her, asking her for the money to bail him out in the rent. But she actually comes through in the episode. But before that, we see Ernest is still in jail, and we see it's Ernest and the older dude. Ernest is trying to fall asleep. He gets yelled at, and the cop tells him, "You should have thought about sleep before you got arrested." Really didn't make sense. I didn't plan on getting arrested. But that happens. Ernest is still there. Ernest basically while he's in his jail, he's going through a lot of different things. We see Ernest, he gives up his sandwich, and one of the older dudes "Dang, you're not gonna make it here. You just giving up your food." And then we got the transsexual dude. Ernest is sitting in the middle, and we get the transsexual dude on the side of him, and her ex-boyfriend on the other side. And they're just talking. He's flirting with her "Dang, you used to be bad today. I see you got your hair changed. Back in the day, you used to always change your hair." And everybody's just looking at him. He's looking at him I knew it was a dude off rip. So I'm confused how he didn't know it was a dude. But Ernest in the middle of them, he's talking "You want me to move for you?" And, "Oh boy, no, I know you can move." And he don't want to talk to him. He don't really care, and he's getting frustrated because Ernest is looking at him weird. That would have been super uncomfortable. You just sitting in the middle. I guess uncomfortable when it's a dude and a female. "Dang, I can move for you so you can spit your game." But in this situation, they're in jail. He's a dude talking to a transsexual like it was a female. And he's telling her how bad she was and everything. Yeah, out of nowhere, somebody "Nigga, you gay." And that shit was funny as hell to me. That was the funniest thing of the episode. He's trying to convince everybody he's not gay. And he's "Oh, most of y'all smash dudes in jail." They're "Oh, that's in jail though. That's environmentally gay. He's gay because he's forced to because he's in jail. But you on the outside just smashing dudes willingly." Everybody knew it was a dude except for him. And you see he started to break down, get upset, and get his feelings hurt. And that's really it was super funny. That's the whole situation. Everybody is calling him gay. Nothing wrong with being gay, but just the situation at that time was just super funny. But besides that, we're gonna jump back to Paperboy. Paperboy, he's out on the streets walking around, and we see little kids are playing with the guns, and he's shooting somebody. He was shooting at one of his sister or cousin, I think it was, and then his other friend, and he yells out, "I'm Paperboy." So he's basically imitating. He didn't even see it. He just heard about what Paperboy did, and he's imitating what he knows Paperboy done, which is like basically a reference to what happens with rap music. They fantasize and like basically glorify all these things, and then the youth go out and actually do it and throw their life away. Basically, they're showing it starts from a young age, which is like we see it actually kind of affects Paperboy. He doesn't really like what he's seeing, so he walks over to him and tries to tell the kid that's the right thing to do. And the mom gets upset because she doesn't really recognize him, but once he tells her who he is, we see she turns into like a groupie. And she wants to take a picture with him. She gives him his number. Basically tells him, "Look, I only got one kid. That's not my kid right there. So don't think I'm just out here jumping around." And I don't even think he's really feeling her like that. But hey, we seem to get back to the cribs talking to Darius about, like, "Hey, I got a number today." Like, of course you that number. You hot out in these streets right now. Then the random dude with the Batman mask shows up, knocking on the door. "Hey, Paperboy there?" And he just runs off. I don't know. He was connected to old boy, that Paperboy, where they had accidentally shot earlier, or what. But it was kind of weird that he just showed up with a Batman mask on and then just runs off. But what can I say? These first 2 episodes is really good. FX picked this show up for 10 episodes this season. I don't know if it'll get extended next season or they'll extend it this season. Sometimes they do that once like a show. If a show's doing really good, sometimes they'll extend the initial order. So right now we have 10 episodes for this season, kind of like Power or like Game of Thrones and shows of like that nature. If you watch those shows, you know they normally do like 10 episodes a season. But this is a great show. I enjoy it. I'm definitely going to do another recap next week. Make sure you check us out. If you like what you heard, as the show goes on, it's going to get more detail. I'm still new to the characters, so next week it'll be a lot smoother, more organized. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, sub, comment what you thought about this episode. Did you like this season? Did you not like this season? Do you like Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, whatever name you know him by? And thank you guys for tuning in. As always, follow Lost Culture on Instagram at Lost_Culture. Follow me on Instagram at Saint_Aston, and stay lost.